Buonasera, I'm Christopher Stewart. Now I'm going to address a very important issue. Why have an agent? Okay. There are several productions I could have been a part of that I was not. The cast and crew of Starship Troopers crashed where I worked, and they told me that they were filming in a certain area and where I could go to be an extra. There were several films filmed around my area. One of my good friends who was Sergeant Zim in Starship had wanted me to work with him in another film which was filmed in my area. And I looked at him then and said, first of all, guys, I gotta live. You know, I can't just suddenly abandon my job for one single role in one single film just to sit there and say, hey, look, I'm back and doing something with you. I have to keep doing my job. I have to live day by day. Okay. The important thing is you know, it draws a big question and a big test to me of why need an agent? Why not just get an extras agent? Why not just be happy with doing the extra work? And why not just continue what you were doing all those years ago? Just be an extra in the United States. It also brings up the point of why an extra if you're only going to do one film a year anyway. Okay. Or why an agent when you're only going to do one film a year anyway? Well, you see, there's several problems with this. The first problem comes with who I am and what I can do. Are you a communications major? Then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. If you're a communications expert, the first thing you understand is how to talk with people, how to like people, how to get people to like you, and how to be cooperative with other people, how to work with other people, and how to get other people interested in who you are and in what you're doing. Okay? That's a lot of it. When I start doing film, when I start doing productions, people start seeing exactly who I am, what I can do, and how nice of a person I am. And people like working with me. I make friends so fast, especially in the industry, it's crazy. And when they suddenly start realizing how over the top my acting skills are, because I was trained by the best, because I went to places like Juilliard, I went to teachers who taught at Oxford and Yale and this, that, and the other place. I got degrees from Rome, and I got degrees from England. I mean, Terence Fisher once said, Christopher, if anyone ever gives you hell about not having a degree, you call me. Because I'll make a phone call and we'll talk to a few people and we'll mail them a copy of an Oxford doctorate degree just to show them up, just to tell them, shut up, there's his degree, let him act. Okay? I mean, literally, that's how people are. Now, when I started in the film in overseas, one of the biggest problems we had was we started getting noticed. You know, we were doing tiny little films in Italy, and all of a sudden directors were contacting us from France. All of a sudden directors were contacting us from Germany, from England. There were several contracts we couldn't do. Okay? When Mario Bava started working with me on several productions in Italy, he turned down 17 directors. And he looked at me and said, Chris, this is amazing. I just turned down 17 directors. I had to, because of where those directors are. This is the Cold War in your United States. They're behind the Iron Curtain. We can't have you working in Russia. Not yet. Maybe in 20, 30 years when everything cools down politically. Not yet. And, you know, I mean, that was some of it. One of the productions I did was actually behind the Iron Curtain in Germany. And not in Germany, but in East Germany, in fact, during the middle of the Cold War. And so much craziness happened around that production that we didn't want to try it ever again. Not until the politics had cooled down. when I started working with Amicus Productions and Hammer Studios, Peter was great at handling things, but he was sitting there going, guys, he has to go back to school. He has to go back to America and go back to school. So we only have him from this time to this time. He can only do these films. He can only do this number of films. He was getting requests left and right. He had me talk with agents in London and in several places in the UK because we were getting so bogged down with requests that he was just sitting there going, there's just nothing about this. You have to have an agent. Everybody back then was going, you just have to have an agent. You're too liked. People just want to work with you. Okay? In the United States, when I came back from working overseas in Italy and working overseas in Japan, in around '83, I think it was, my father had been laid off from Chase Manhattan Bank, and the family had no income. So I sent off resumes and I said, okay, let's see what I can do as far as acting. And I got an extras agent out of New York with Extras Incorporated. He was the only agent who would actually listen to me and talk to me and take me in, because I was under the age of 18. Now, when he started working with me because he had a contract for me working with my sensei from Japan, Sho Gusugi, and my sensei, Lee Van Cleef, in the Master Ninja production. Probably if Sho had not decided to come to America and do ninja movies, the whole deal with being an extra wouldn't actually have worked, because I was under the age of 18. Okay? But that's where we started from. Okay? I had an extras agent. He was this, that, and the other thing. And the main reason he dumped me was because my father screamed at him. Okay? My father was an extreme abusive alcoholic. And he couldn't take my father's yelling. So that's why he left me when I was 17. Before that, I was sitting at home one day, I get a call, and my agent's like, I don't believe you. You are just absolutely amazing. I have never worked with anybody like you. And I'm like, Al, what's going on? He says, Christopher, I don't think this has ever been in recorded history. You're an extra. I'm an extras agent. This is Extras Incorporated. We got a call from England. They want you overseas. They want you in Krull. I don't believe this. How did you even contact these people? How do these people even know who you are? How do you even have contacts overseas? Now with that agent, he was only paid if he found the contract. So if I found the contract, he wasn't paid. So he had to just literally work to be an agent. Okay? Now, we went overseas and did Krull. When I came back from Krull, he got phone calls for film after film after film after film after film. Okay? We literally had directors all over the US and all over the world contacting my agent because they wanted to work with me. There was one time where we worked on Turkey Shoot for the UK. We worked on Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Dune, and Conan the Destroyer for the United States. We did all these productions in the same day in Australia. Okay? That's how tight my scheduling was. My scheduling was so tight that my agent had to actually turn down contracts because I couldn't be in a film filming in New York on the same day I was in a film filming in California. Some productions, they actually said, okay, we'll wait. And he went, what? You'll wait? He said, yeah, we'll wait. What is it going to take, 2 weeks? Yeah, okay, then in 2 weeks, let us know. Okay? Now, these productions were short, they were fast, they were things like come to us on Saturday and work Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then go home Sunday afternoon. Because it was just extra work. It was just filling in here, there, and everywhere. Okay? I got requests for doing Star Trek. You know, I did Star Trek 3 Search for Spock and Journey Home. I got requests for every film in the industry. I couldn't actually be in Terminator because I was in something else with Arnold around the same shooting time. And I couldn't match his scheduling because of the spatial differences. And things of that nature. I mean, literally, it just went through the roof. And when I was working with Francis Ford Coppola on Howling 6, he said, "I don't believe you. You're working for an extras agent. That's insane. The moment you did even Pentangle, you should have been working for WME, you should have been working for CAA. What is this?" Okay, which is another thing. If I start working in film, and I start working in a major production, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to have 15 directors in the United States, people like Steven Spielberg, people like Ron Howard, several others, who are going to sit there and go, "And who's your agent? And why aren't you working for that agent over there?" That's the first thing they're going to say. They're going to say that because there is no reason why I should not have an agent of a high caliber. Okay? When you look at this series, when you look at this film, when you actually look at me as an actor, and you realize just what I can do, just how much I know, and what I can teach, then the first thing you have to ask yourself is, why doesn't a high caliber agent represent him? There's no reason for it. Okay? I am someone who will sit there and say, "Okay, let's do a film in England. Because it's a film. Let's just do film." Okay? Now when we get done with that production in England, let's go and do a production in France. If an agent was backing me, that agent would go from a communications major who just opened his business and has 5 cents to his name to a multi-millionaire over the course of 2 years. Simply because he listened to what I was saying. Simply because he let me run the show. And that's the thing. Agents don't want you to run the show. They want you to sit back and wait for their call and accept their one contract and say, "Okay, you're done." Now, there are a number of agents in America today who, if you read their websites, say actors shouldn't do that. Actors should go out and be aggressive. Actors should go out and find their own contracts. Guys, if I did that and you were my agent, you would be going, "Oh, wait, I can't represent anybody because I'm getting flooded with contracts." Because I know how to do that. Okay? The problem is when I start getting so many contracts that no one can understand what to do with it, we need an agent that will actually manage. Okay, you have to have someone like a secretary, a communications major, someone who speaks foreign languages, who will sit there and work with people from this country, from that country, who will set up timetables, who will figure out how you're going to get from here to there, who will sit there and say, "Yes, you can do that contract. Wait a minute, that contract conflicts with this contract, that contract timing. The timing's off here, the timing's off there. We need to fix this. We need to change shooting schedules if you really need him," that kind of thing. And you have to have an agent who's willing to do that. Okay? Which is extremely rare because nobody in America is going to actually work. I mean, come on. Beverly Hills, owning your own company, you don't want to work. You're sitting there polishing your nails, for God's sakes. And I don't care if you're male or female. You don't want to do your job. And why? Oh my God, we might actually give the Academy a challenge. We might actually force the Academy of Awards of the United States to show one actor for Best Actor Award Well, Best Actor Oscar, when he was in this film and that film, when there's two films competing for Best Actor Oscar and it's the same actor in, but what a decision the Academy might have to make. Well, let them make the decision, stupid. You're not even on the Academy. What do you care? Okay? That's the thing. It's like, I want to look at all of my friends. I want to look at Tom and Val and Kiefer and several other people that I've worked with, that I've known across the years, and say, go ahead, do that film and do it in an Oscar-winning performance. And then do that film the same year as an Oscar-winning performance. Make the Academy try to choose between which role they should give the award to. Give them a challenge for once. Go ahead, go out and do it. Right now, someone in the Academy is laughing their ass off because, oh my God, what if someone actually listened to him? That would be great! Okay? Why you need an agent is because when you start getting contracts that pile up over each other, from country to country, from place to place, world to world, you have to have somebody to sit there and say, okay, this is what we can do this year. You have to cut back on the limits. You have to understand, I did over 300 films in 3 years. That's an average of 100 films per year. Okay? I literally average 100 films per year, no matter what. You give me an agent, I will average 100 films a year. Now, when I'm averaging 100 films a year, you have to realize just what that means. You have to understand what that means. Okay? You could sit there and go, well, Chris, just go ahead and do this. Just start this way. Yeah, if I started that way, how many people are going to want me overnight? How many people are going to suddenly go, oh, wait, he's back! Oh my God, he's back! Okay? The moment you start seeing me internationally, then all of a sudden directors who haven't directed in 30 years go, oh my God, where is he? And that's why I need an agent. Anybody can do what I did. Very few people will, because very few people know how to. Very few people are that good and are that communicative with people. Okay? It's not a con job. Con artists don't work in the industry. You have to really want it, you have to really do it, and you have to really be able to work with people. I mean, I could sit here and do lesson after lesson and teach you how to be me, and by the end you're going to sit there and say, I just can't do that. Because there's only one me. But even if there were more than one me, who cares? Let's all get together and rock the whole world and prove that their entire art industry has to improve because there's not enough people to manage it. And make more people be artists. And make more people represent those artists. And then make more people be artists as directors. And more people as artists as writers. Oh my God, what would all the bankers do if they suddenly had to be artists? But still, you have to look at it from a bigger perspective. Okay? There was a small production near where I live where I could have been in one film. And I think about that. And I say, yeah, I could have done that. Maybe I could have requested time off of work and I could have gone in and done that one particular picture. It wasn't a picture I actually liked. It wasn't the kind of thing I could have done. But if I had done that, that would have suddenly put me in a major role worldwide in a film that didn't technically deserve that much exposure, in a B film that would have been everywhere, that suddenly would have had directors like Steven Spielberg go, wait a minute, what? that suddenly would have had people calling people. You don't want that without backing. And I can tell you right now, the one thing Tom Cruise is sitting there saying is, I don't want these people calling me if they're not going to be serious. He said it back in the 90s. I don't want an agent calling me if they're not going to represent you. If they're going to call me, make them fucking represent you. That's stupid. I'm tired of this crap. And he's right. He's absolutely right. There is no reason why my friend should be bothered because an agent wants to see the progress of the one they will not represent. Let me explain something to you. You're familiar with mental games? Let me quote some titles to you. Monopoly, Monopoly Play, Blood War, Betting Against the Wheel. This kind of crap. You're familiar with that shit? This is what the agents are. This is what they do. Now, what are they creating? They're creating an image. What is that image? They are creating a crashing star a falling shooting star that hits the earth as a great big comet and explodes into the ground as a crater. And all it is a crater. And it's destroyed and it's dead. And it's an asteroid that now I can put up and place on my mantelpiece because it's a dead star. We are creating a dead star that never did anything. How many people in the industry say no? Every actor is a shooting star. You want to take him by the balls and wing him around? Be from a foreign country and say, I'm going to take him. And I'm going to prove you all are stupid. Because all you have to do is work with me, with directors in France, England, Italy, Japan, the United States. Be willing to work with everybody. Be a communications major. Be someone who speaks several different languages. And he'll sit there and say, yeah, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to make him rich. I'm going to make the world see who he really is. And he's just going to take over the entire industry. He's going to star in every film for the next 30 years. What's one of the biggest problems? I'm a workaholic, guys. What does that mean? That means if I'm not doing something, I am so bored that I have to do something. Okay? If I'm not doing something, I make myself do something. I'm one of those people that if I start going too nuts, I start getting a second job because I have to do something. To some extent, you might even classify me as ADD. I don't know, haven't even bothered looking at it. I'm just hyper. And once I start doing something I love, then I'm really hyper because I don't want to stop. I keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny Rabbit. And you have to keep up. Because if you don't keep up, I'll start writing. And I'll start directing and I'll prove you wrong. You have to keep up.